go through the motions. First of all, we're gonna load. Let's see. We're gonna load the Mavericks. Just put some M9s on here. I'm using mostly the D version, AGM65D. I'm not really sure what the differences are between them, so I won't go into that. But those are the ones I usually use, and they work for what I want them to do. Just gonna put our gun plug on. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, that's slow motion. Let's see. Let's shift D.
Copy.
Okay, back to normal speed. It slows down my the game slows down when I push the stream button. Right, okay, I'm gonna start up, taxi out on the runway, and go through the key bindings you need, or we need, to make the Mavericks work, and how to set it up.
Rearming complete.
Start.
Warning.
That should be it. Just a canopy. So taxi out on the runway, and then go through the key bindings we need. One very important thing here is the Mavericks needs warm up, and it has a warm up time at about 3 minutes. So the absolute first thing we do, you go to left MFD and we push the stores. And here you can see we have the infrared Mavericks IRMVs. Now it's the same with the rockets. You can select the stores weapon type up here, or you can select them down here. So you can select those. At this stage now, what it does is starts warming up the Mavericks. And the way you can see that is it says standby, SDBY. It will take about 3 minutes, and then that will change to ready, RDY, and then they're ready to use. So for now we cannot use all 5 of them for about 3 minutes. We're going to take off, fly away a little bit, fly back to this airfield here, and we're going to try and target these targets down here, 4 vehicles, and go through the steps. Oh yeah, before that I want to go through the controls we need. So here we are. What's important to bind is all the sensor select buttons that you have here. All of these needs to be bound. The other one is all the TDC buttons. TDC is the onboard camera, the one on the nose of the airplane. So you have left, right, forward, aft. That's slewing. TDC down action. That's action position. That's locking, basically. Locking target. You lock your Maverick camera with it too. The TDC action, no action toggle. That is when you snap your camera to the ground and you start slewing, it will by default slew very slow. If you click on that, it will toggle between fast and slow slew. So you can move your camera fast, you can move your camera slow, basically. That's what that do, which is very nice to have. Because sometimes you just want to move to the next one and it takes forever for the camera to move over. And another very important button is the air to ground target undesignate. That's the nose wheel steering button. On the ground it will activate your nose wheel steering. If you have it in regular mode, then when you have to activate the nose wheel steering, you will turn very fast. It's very useful on carriers. When you're in air, it snaps your camera position back to the front of your HUD. So it snaps it to this marker here, the round one with the wings. So that way you can reset it. If you snap your camera somewhere and you want to redesignate it or move it or not using it anymore, then you just nose wheel steer and it will snap back to this point. That's about it, I think. The stuff down here is on by default. It means it will just fire one missile anyway. So none of this is important. It's set on AGM mode by default, as it is. The fuse, not really sure what it means, but that's also by default. I never changed it. I know you can change it like this. So we have 4 different modes by the looks of it. IN, I think it's instant, so I'll try that. We'll take off, fly a little bit out, and come back to the airfield and go through the motions. So go. Not going to a little bit heavy, so I'm going to use flaps. Not going to use water for this. Gear up. So what I want to do right away is select air to ground mode and master arm on. So that's ready. You can see when the master arm is off, it will blink just like the rocket setup, and it gets solid when you have master arm on. It shows everybody selected, so yeah, it says you have 4 infrared Mavericks. the moment, and that's the full ones here. Let's do it a little bit. Now the warm-up is done. You can see down here it says ready now. Okay, so next step would be to get the TDC camera, the inbuilt camera, on a target. So sensor select aft will take you to this picture. And this is where you set in your laser stuff, but that's not something you do now. So you do aft once more, so 2 times till you get a TV screen like this. Also, to make sure you push your nose wheel button, it will send to your thing here. So if it was locked to somewhere like this, push the nose wheel steering, and it pops back up. It follows the I just call it meatball, but it's I don't remember what it's called. We're going to turn back now and get the camera to point at the target first. Then I'm going to fly by, come back in and slave the Mavericks to the camera position and fire the Mavericks. So you got the airfield over there, should be some target just on the left side. So I'm going to snap the camera down about there. I'm going to slew, like now it's slewing very slowly. So if I use the other one, the action, no action TDC, it will slow fast. Looking for targets here. There we are, we got a truck. So push it again, slow. Now we have it on the target. Now the camera will now always point at this area, unless you slew or push the nose wheel button to recenter it. The camera will be looking at the target. You will have the camera TV image when the camera can look at it. So if we turn around, just to see the function of it, when the nose camera can't look at it anymore, it changes to this, where it says TV. ARM means master arm is on. There, it says safe. On. So it is on TV mode. You won't see the TV image because the camera can't slew to the point on the ground. So we're going to come back in. Also on the HUD you have the arrow. The arrow is pointing at the direction of where your camera point is. So we'll get closer to it now. There we go. Camera found it. Now the next thing we do is, now that we found the camera, found the target with the camera, push the cage uncage button. That opens the left MFD with the Maverick camera. Now one important thing is, now push sensor select forward. I will change to this image. Make sure it says IRMV up here. If it doesn't, it will show INS, then just keep pushing forward till it shows IRMV. Now you can lock target with the Maverick. You can see the crosshairs snapping in on it, and pickle, and it will fire. The step I usually forget is when I uncage off to this camera, I usually forget the sensor select forward to get this image. If I still have the camera here, TDC camera, then I can't fire. Okay, so now we fired one. I'm gonna push cage on cage button again. That toggles it back to the storage page. On this side, I want to go back to the camera, so that's sensor select aft. Now it says TV. The TV image isn't here because the camera can't point to the spot right we have the arrowhead. So we're going to turn back. We're going to get the camera image again, and we're going to slew the camera to a new target. Now this method is the slow and reliable method. You can also slew with your Maverick camera, but it doesn't snap to the ground properly, so it follows your plane movement, so it's a little bit harder. But I'll stick to this. Okay, we found another target. Leave it there. I'm going to push uncage. Step up to that camera. I'm going to go sensor select forward till it says IRMV. I'm going to push TDC down till it locks and pickle. So that's basically the motion. Now I'm gonna uncage. So it toggles back to the stores page. I'm gonna go sensor select aft again, so I get the TV. TV is there. I'm gonna recenter the TV with nose wheel steering. That will snap it back into forward, so you can see it will point straight ahead. Like this. I will now try and figure out if I can lock buildings with this. The Maverick camera will snap to the point the camera is looking at. But if you have your camera on the ground and there's nothing there, let's try this actually. You probably won't lock. So if I put my camera, TDC camera down here in the open somewhere, like this, I uncage, Maverick camera is on, I sensor select forward, get the IRMV, and I push the TDC down, the action pushes the locking, and it won't lock. It doesn't snap on anything because there's nothing there. Uncage again, go back to camera, recenter camera with nose wheel steering. We're going to try and find a building. See if the Maverick locks to that. It's really faster. Should be something over here. Okay, here we have a building. Here we have a building. Right. I'm going to uncage. Oops. There we go. Uncage. Now looking at it. Sensor select forward and TDC down, and it locks. So now I can pickle. Actually do that. Let's see if I does this properly. So it locks to objects. There you go. Objects, buildings. I'm not sure if it locks to bridges actually. Are there anyone nearby? There should be a bridge over there. This I haven't tested yet, so it's a bit interesting. So you can find the bridge. Oh, over there we have one. Right, so I'm going to uncage, toggle back to the last Maverick, sensor select aft, it says TV, recenter my camera, nose wheel steering. I'm going to try and get my camera on a bridge. But over there. To make the camera stick on the ground, you just move your TDC up, down, left, right. Okay, so there's a bridge. I'm going to try and look at the middle of that. And now I'm going to uncage. Maverick camera, look at the same place. Sensor select forward till it says IRMV. And TDC down, lock button till it locks, and it seemed to lock actually. That's interesting. Up here you can see how many Mavericks you have left. It's not and what you selected, and the distance to the target in miles. I think the max locking range is 7 miles, I think, around there. If it's further away, it won't lock. I'm gonna pickle this one. See if it can do any damage. Boom. Nice. Alright, recentering camera. So now I can uncage as much as I want and nothing will happen. I don't have any Maverick camera to sleep to or lock to. I'm going to put sensor select off to the TV. Actually, I'm going to go back in. So that's oops, collapse down. That's about it. It seems very complicated until you know the steps and have to do it in the right order. In the end, it just becomes muscle memory, luckily. As I said, the thing I usually forget, the part I usually forget is when I have my TDC camera locked on a target, I uncage so the Maverick camera pops up on the left MFD. I then usually just try to lock it with the TDC down button immediately and it won't lock. And that's because I forgot to push sensor select forward. Yeah, that's it. I hope this helped, and see if you can get it to work. Thanks.